Welcome to Perspectives, different angles on the same situation. What are the roles and responsibilities of a focal point representing a private equity firm among its invested companies? Today, we will try to understand that question through three different types of answers: exaggerated, fictional, and that do not represent the truth. Today, we will be speaking here with the director of a multinational private equity firm who oversees portfolio companies operating in the global technology industry. So let's get started. What are your roles and responsibilities? What is your day-to-day work like? Okay, let's go on for the first type of response for your question, the corporate standard response. First of all, let me say it's a pleasure to be here. I hold a degree in production engineering and an MBA from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. I also have several post degrees in leadership, people management, and technology, among others. Before joining my current private equity firm 3 years ago, I spent 5 years in technology companies within planning and finance roles and 2 years at an investment bank managing equity investments in the tech sector. These experiences, working with a tech company and analyzing stocks for investment, have given me a 360-degree view of the industry. In other words, I have been on the inside of the business and have also analyzed companies from an investment perspective. In private equity, we combine these two. We invest in companies and also participate in their management. Broadly speaking, we buy stakes in tech companies under a model that grants us the right to participate in their governance. This can range from simply sitting on the board of directors of a portfolio company to directly participating in management, with our own employees assuming roles within the invested firm. As a director for the technology sector, I am responsible for the portfolio of tech companies our firm has invested in. The decision on which companies to acquire is made by our partnership committee. Of course, I provide recommendations, but my primary responsibility here today is managing the existing portfolio, the existing companies we have invested in. I lead a team of around 5 consultants, each managing 2 portfolio companies. So I currently oversee 10 invested tech firms. Within these companies invested, my team acts as multi-managers, let's say. They represent our firm by supporting and holding the planning, finance, and product directors of these firms that we have invested on. They assist in strategy development and oversee the action plans for execution, tracking specific KPIs for each business. On average, they spend 2 days a week at each portfolio company and 1 day here at the private equity firm, exchanging experiences and information with each other and also with me. I spend the other 4 days, besides this 1 day with my team, let's say in the field, visiting the 10 portfolio companies based on demand or specific events. And of course, throughout the week, I am in direct contact with the firm's partners whenever necessary. On the day my entire team is here at the firm, they report on how each company is performing, what's working, what was planned, and where they need or will need support. We review the action plans and indicators for each portfolio company and decide on the next steps. For example, the focus for one company might be a review of its commercial structure and policy. For another invested company, the focus could be restructuring the organization's personnel, roles, and compensation plans. We might also plan or review sales and growth targets or reverse investment policy. So 1 day a week I pass with my team discussing the invested companies they're responsible for, and the other 5 days, let's say, I visit the 10 companies that we have invested according to demand and specific events that may require my presence. What would be the second type of response for your question of my role at a private equity firm among invested companies? The sincere type response. Look, to be perfectly honest, I spend around 99% of my time managing the 10 portfolio companies and about 1% bringing suggestions for new acquisitions and discussing things with partners of my private equity firm. Of course, the partners listen to me regarding which new companies to invest in, but they operate at a different level of networking and, let's say, politicking that allows them to make those final investment decisions. And being completely frank, I am under immense pressure regarding the results of the 10 tech companies I oversee, both in terms of financial performance and growth projections. We don't invest to get the same return as a certificate of deposit, for example. We expect returns above 20% per year on our invested companies. In other words, for every $100 we put in, we want at least a 20 annual return. To put it in another way, if I invest $100, that company needs to be worth more than $120 after a year. At the end of the day, it has to be very, very profitable. I put on money to make money. My team of consultants has one job, to ensure that all this works. And if that means they have to clean the house of the invested companies, they clean the house. I work 7 days a week, at least 12 hours a day to get everything done. I'm not going to lie. I have an excellent salary, but a massive bonus tied to the performance of the companies I manage. That's my carrot out in the front. The stick carrot behind me is if I don't perform or if I'm in to fix something and I fail, I'm out. Do we have the best resources, tools, people, and compensation? Yes. But here it's up or out. But the other side of the coin is, in other words, you either work to get promoted and earn more or you're gone. The best people and the best salaries come with that trade off. In an ideal world, greed would not exist. Are there people and leaders like this today without greed? Yes, fortunately. And I have the luck and the honor of working with several types of people like that. But unfortunately, there are other types of leaders or investors focused solely on capital return. The big question is, how many generations will it take us to reach this ideal world? Okay, today we saw three types of different responses for the same question. Remember, there are no absolute truths, and people may have different points of view from yours. Always consider that they may exist alternative takes on the same matter. This will hopefully help you navigate more open-mindedly through life. Knowledge always makes us grow. We never should stop learning. Think about it.